Welcome to the Restoring Balance podcast, where two lifelong friends get together to rewatch and discuss why they love Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jim. Today we're discussing Book 1, Episode 7, The Winter Solstice Part 1, The Spirit World.
Listeners will not know, but we took quite a long break.
A little summer vacation from the podcast.
Basically. But it's seamless for you guys. Absolutely seamless.
Nice.
I think character development moved a lot forward in this. We got to see a lot out of Iroh. We got to see a little bit of the Iroh-Zuko interaction and the love between them. We got to see Aang's journey into the spiritual realm and how he's been trying to fill the role as Avatar, but is lost.
And I would say that we moved the plot forward still, too. And we can get into it, of course.
But before we get into that, I have a very important question. How do they make Appa's voice? Because you think it's just a guy moaning, or...
Yeah, we got to watch Avatar Spirits, man.
Bro, I'm not in the know.
I think it's D. Bradley Baker.
Does he act any of the other people? Or?
Oh, he acts everybody. All of it.
Oh, sorry.
Appa,
It's a one-man show.
Yeah, he absolutely crushes
It's actually Katara, Aang, and Sokka.
He's a lot of people's extras. In fact, as we get to later episodes, I'm sure I'll be able to point out, like, yep, he voices that person too. But the Avatar Spirits documentary talks about, like, his creative approach.
Maybe once we finish the first season, we do a special episode of the Spirits documentary. Might be a good spot to do it.
I support it. But anyways, as we enter the episode itself, get a little hawk flying through.
Yeah, in the very beginning. What looked like a messenger hawk later in the series,
Right.
a hawk that looks like that is used for that purpose, but seemed like it was just a hawk in this
Yeah,
case.
it seemed like it was just a hawk. But it was the first time I had, like, paid attention to how early they're shown. And it's like, okay, you know, just planting the seed.
Yeah. Fleshing out the world.
Like, every time I see stuff like that, I'm just like, wow, you had the forethought to know that you wanted to plant it in the first place. And from that, like, we're flying with a hawk. They're on Appa. We get a little bit more characterization before the more intense look at Aang's character, where the show reminds us, like, yeah, this is a happy, curious, fun-loving kid who's like, I'll go jump in the clouds right now. Like,
And we get a science lesson.
yeah,
Turns out clouds are made of water.
Clouds are water, who knew?
Who knew?
Does that ever get paid off in the future? Does Katara ever bend water out of clouds?
Yep. So that is some foreshadowing for the fortune teller episode.
That's coming up.
Yep. So that's in this season, and they bend those clouds, right? So you could say this is another seed planted.
They do. Yeah, this is another seed.
Yep.
They said, guess what? Clouds are water.
Yep. Make the viewer think, like, wait, then that means you can bend that.
All right.
And in fact, we're going to.
When we see a hawk again, is that when Zuko becomes the blue spirit?
I think so. That's,
around that time?
Yeah, that's the next time I can remember seeing one.
Some of my favorite moments in the show are when Zuko and Iroh are together.
They're all my favorite moments, man. I live by Uncle Iroh.
He's the best.
He is, man.
When the Earth Nation capture him, they give us a little more exposition and background for Iroh. They talk about him laying siege to Ba Sing Se for 600 days.
Yep.
And then Iroh was humble again, saying, my men were tired, I was tired. Thus we decided to leave. But it's interesting to see how they sneak in the backstory of some of the characters.
Yeah. It's beautiful writing. Yeah, that scene also at the same time has another function to him saying, I was tired, was to fake fall asleep in order to leave them.
Yeah, he immediately says, I'm still tired, and then pretends to fall asleep, leaving a breadcrumb for Zuko.
Right.
Yeah, no, the way he handled his guards was incredible. The show
absolutely.
did a good job making him seem like a badass.
I agree.
Pretending to be a doddering old fool.
Mm-hmm. Which is cool because you were right. Up to this point, you see him, he was clumsy. And then...
yeah. Bro, he has been sort of an old fool so far.
Right. A little too jokey. He's been addressed respectfully, of course, by everybody we've seen.
Yeah.
Sometimes disrespectfully when it comes to Zuko. But this is like the first time where it starts to transition into there's a little bit more to this guy, and there's a reason that people respect him.
Bro, they go crazy on hyping up Iroh because he sees the dragon when he's captured by the Earth Kingdom soldiers. He like freaks out because there's a dragon flying above him. Quickly regains his composure, and we don't learn about that for a long time.
Another seed planted, man.
That seed takes a long time to grow.
That's like a big deal too. Like he was the only one that saw that. Nobody else in the whole episode saw it, and we have reason to believe that there's probably few people that could ever see that.
Yeah, I thought for a second when Aang was in the spirit world that Appa was going to see him or something because of some sort of weird animal-human bond, you know? But no, Appa couldn't see him. But Iroh saw him on the dragon.
Yep.
What is the reason? Why can Iroh see the dragon? Because he killed the last dragon? Well, he didn't kill it. He made a special connection with the final dragon.
No, it's not that. So it connects to this lore that we're learning about him, actually. We learn more in the end of this season that Zhao heard about his journey into the spirit world. And that was connected to why that 600-day siege ended. His son passed away, right?
He had an epiphany, huh?
Right. And in that time between the end of that battle and now, he has since had quite the spiritual journey. So in some of the flashbacks that we end up seeing later on in season 2, and we'll talk about it more when we get there, but he is a very different man in those flashbacks than the Iroh that we know and love now.
Bro, the show is great.
It sure is.
Yeah, we have to remember there's other people in this episode other than Iroh.
Best character.
I didn't really need any others, though. Could have just been an Iroh-only episode.
Iroh-only series, man. I'll take it right now.
That'd be cool. I wouldn't want to see a young Iroh, though.
How about the journey that he had? The
That's
spiritual journey.
That's what I want to see.
Yes.
They never talk about it,
I would
really.
love that.
See how he changed and grew.
And then skip to like after this series with him just like in his tea shop. Oh. They arrive at this land that they refer to as Scarred, which is a really cool way to put it.
Forest has been raised. And then they go to see what happened.
And get real upset.
Yep. They all took it really hard except for Sokka. He was fine.
Well, I mean, he did see eventually that it was the fault of the Fire Nation.
And then he was a little pissed.
A little bit of a spike of anger, yeah.
The unique way that each of the characters handled seeing the forest was pretty beautiful because it fit them perfectly. Like, Aang quietly thought about how he had let everybody down because he was gone for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Katara, caring as ever, was upset by the forest, but noticed how upset Aang was, even though he's normally very positive.
Yeah.
And so tried to comfort him. And then Sokka was oblivious, but then when told by his sister, he cared for Aang and got angry at the Fire Nation, which is how he normally expresses his feelings, is like getting angry.
And further, like when they make it into town, again, I believe the same traits. Like when they reach the conclusion that they're going to help out as they like step to the side and talk for a second, Aang's optimistic that he'll figure it out. And that's his way. You know, he is an optimistic guy after all. Katara immediately supports that she's sure he will figure it out. And then Sokka is, you know, the devil's advocate, like,
yeah, we're all gonna get eaten by a spirit monster.
They walk into town and they are greeted by, like, he's sort of like an elder or like a spiritual leader or something. And he's really tall, I thought, when we first saw him. And then he brought all the Aang gang inside, and everybody was so tall. And it really put into perspective, like, Aang and his friends are children, you know?
Mhm.
Like, they're half the height of these, like, adult men towering over them in there. And it's interesting how accepting the people of the world have been to Aang so far.
you know, that old guy shows up and he asks if he's the Avatar, right? And Aang looks at Katara. You know, he's come to trust this person, right? Before he gives up this information and confirms, yes, I am the Avatar. That same guy who we end up following into town, his whole role becomes like, Oh, if anybody can do it, the Avatar can do it. Or we need the Avatar's help.
Yeah, he's a little too insistent that the Avatar
I
can do it.
agree.
Like, he's completely unfazed by the fact that he's like 12 years old.
Yeah.
You're like, this guy's the best. I love this guy.
Right. Since when do you just know him and know everything that he's capable
Yeah,
of?
gone for 100 years? Yeah,
Yes.
forget about it.
Right. Right.
But when they first arrive in town, I wanted to comment on the lighting. When they were in the clouds with Appa, I mean, it has the like ethereal lighting around them, which is always beautiful.
Yep.
But then when they landed, this was a very time-focused episode. They were tracking the sun the whole time because there was a monster that came at sundown.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they first arrived at town, it was sunset. And that cast long shadows, And the sun was coming through the front door of whatever meeting house they were in,
Yep.
where all the people were holed up trying to stay away from the monster, Heibai. And it just cast the longest shadows of the Aang gang and the leaders. And it was beautiful. I mean, you see, like, shows in real life don't use lighting as well as this cartoon.
But at the same time, the lighting gives them the opportunity to emphasize color as well. So beyond the nighttime where things are darker, we get the color aspect of what this light has brought, that Aang looks pretty blue at night. And as it transitions into the next day, he's still blue. And that's where it kind of surprises us. Like, oh, my man's a ghost.
They got me. Like, I've seen the show multiple times, and I was like, when did he go to the spirit world? Like, I thought there was some sort of something here. And then he got back and was like, oh, they got me again. Oh, that dark.
Yeah.
He was blue the whole time, man. I
Yeah.
swear. This episode is so well thought out. The setup, oh my God. Because
I agree.
the setup I'm talking about, of course, is Aang needs a spiritual teacher and to figure out some stuff. And it's like he's getting close to the winter solstice so he can go into the spirit world and talk with his previous, like, avatar incarnations.
Yeah. And another thing, too, is in that previously on Avatar, we get the Monkey Atso flashback where he mentions to Aang, when you're ready, he will reveal himself to you. Monkey Atso never explicitly says that it's Roku, but Aang got it. He knew what he meant.
The sun dawns on the horizon, and Aang is blue.
Right.
And then, like, after that, after he messes around and is like, hey, I'm here, and nobody sees him, his flying bison can't see him, he tries to fly, and he falls to the ground because he has no bending in the spirit world.
Yep.
Apparently. I'm just wondering, why did Aang walk all the way home instead of try to fly? Like, they're implying that he didn't try to fly from the spot that he flew to. That's how he got there. He was chasing a giant monster carrying Sokka, flying on his glider, gets to the middle of nowhere, and then he walks back.
Maybe he was just feeling sad and doesn't like to fly when he doesn't have that spirit, right?
He didn't have his jovial nature
Right.
to inspire him to fly.
That's what's coming to mind for me right now, at least,
It works for me, but yeah, just a sad, lonely trudge back, only to find out you're in the spirit world.
In my head, that force is very close to that village, though, so.
It took him all night, too.
Oh, true, yeah.
He got back around dawn,
That's
so
a
it
good point.
must have been pretty far. Or he, like, took a break or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what Aang was thinking on that walk back. Plot hole, write it down. Chalk up another plot hole for the boy. Yo, Heibai's actually scary. I love his design. It was cool. It was cool. And they actually let him destroy stuff.
Even when they got there, they have a nice big wide shot panning across the town as the lighting changes as well, where you can see the damage that he's caused.
Yeah, exactly. I noticed that too. There's houses destroyed, towers collapse, fences run over, things like that.
He's very scary. And he changes in size too.
Yeah, he does. He is huge when he shows up the second time. And then he shrinks down so he can get inside and terrorize them.
4 arms in front, 2 little ones for abducting people, apparently.
2 abduction arms. I was just reminded of, do you remember the Digimon movie? That movie where they had the song 1 Week by the Bare Naked Ladies that I finally found out in middle school. I was like, that's the song.
Yeah, I
That's the
remember.
song.
Yeah.
Does he remind you of this Digimon at all?
Well, let me see. I'll be honest, I've never thought of that Digimon when looking at Heibai, but
All right, what about this one?
I can't. Okay. Hold on.
He's getting back up. None of them are great fits. I'm so sorry.
Definitely not the second one. But I can't say I've thought a lot about Digimon at all. I have not seen that movie all the way through. I know you have several times.
I don't remember any of it.
Not surprised.
It's crazy. Here's as far as I'll go. I think Heibai could be a Digimon. How about that?
I'm with you.
There we go. We got somewhere.
Yeah.
We got somewhere.
But anyway, so what I was starting to say there is, he says, I'm in the spirit world, right? And we know that there is a spirit world, but like, he's walking around in the real world. How is he in the spirit world?
That's a good point.
Well, I've wondered it before on previous rewatches, and I see that you're thinking now. I've reached a conclusion that I think makes sense, but what are your thoughts?
All right, let's parcel it out then. So there is a spirit realm, and there are spirits, and apparently either Aang or all humans have a spiritual representation or spirit within them. Maybe that's the soul. And so we can think of what he's doing as sort of astral projection. He's projecting his soul because his body's still in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
His soul, instead of going to the spirit realm, has stayed on the material realm, I'll call it. And it's escorted by Spirit Dragon, which for some reason is also on the material plane. I'm going to say I don't know. Because the spirits, Tui and La, have to have physical forms to be here. Right? That was the whole deal. They said they stayed to keep balance or whatever. And in exchange, they needed to take a physical form. But then the dragon comes here for free, gives Aang a ride. So tell me, what do you think?
I like all you've said, especially with the physical form idea, because it'd be interesting to connect to the thought or conclusion that I've reached.
I could say more, because
sure, yeah,
physical people have gone into the spirit realm.
Like our man Iroh.
Like Iroh. And the face stealer stole the face of a lover of someone, a woman's face, a real woman. So either she came to the spirit world or he went to the real world and stole her face. So there's implications everywhere.
Yeah.
Too bad I don't know what they mean. All right, I'm ready.
I have concluded that since we're so close to the winter solstice, that blurred line is the reason that he can say such a thing.
As the solstice approaches, the natural world and the spirit world grow closer and closer until the line between them is blurred completely.
I'm thinking if it was a different part of the year, that this wouldn't have worked out the way that it did. I've never read or watched any video about that, though, so that's just kind of my own interpretation. Further, though, it makes me wonder, why can't Roku just be here right now?
His dragon's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Exactly.
What is he doing? Why do we gotta wait till we're on the day of the solstice to talk to him right now?
He's napping, bro, just like Iroh.
Yeah. What is he freaking charging up his spiritual
juice?
Yeah, come on.
He's saving it up so he can give that big, long rant when we meet him. Plot hole. No, I'm just kidding.
But one last thing before we move on from the hey bye spirit world altercation there is we came across this quote that I say pretty often, and it's when Aang is sitting next to Katara as a spirit, even though she can't sense him at all.
All I have to do is figure out what I have to do. But once I do that, no problem.
Bro, I say that too. It's true.
It is.
All you have to do is figure out what you have to do.
And it is no problem. Just might take a little longer sometimes. It's never not going to be applicable. So although this line feels like it might be a throwaway line or just a joke, like it truly is a piece of wisdom in my eyes. Appa gets some character development in this way too. They still make it a point to just incorporate him all throughout. Yeah, he's an animal, but he is absolutely a character. And it's all done so subtly. Like an animal can't speak, so you have to do it through action. right? And it just leads the viewer to pay attention that much more to the bond that Appa and Aang have, right? He's just restless without Aang around. And it reinforces the idea of the animal guide to the Avatar. When Aang understands that Fang is Roku's animal guide, he says it out loud.
You're Avatar Roku's animal guide. Like Appa is to me.
Like Appa is to me. He immediately follows it up with that, right? That's just another aspect that is so subtly snuck into this episode. It's just surprising when you pay attention to it all.
Since we're talking about dragons, was anybody else a little uncomfortable when it kept touching Aang on the forehead with its whisker? Surely it could have used a talon or its tail.
A little bit scary.
Even the tongue would have been less weird somehow.
Well,
The whisker was a little much, bro. It was so wriggly.
it was
And the shot, too. It was like from off screen, just a giant wriggly worm gets Aang.
it was cool to see that Aang was very afraid of it initially.
The dragon.
And then once he learned this is my friend, every time he had a question and he would ask it, he would be like prepared to like lean his head that way or receive the whisker.
Don't receive the whisker.
Don't receive the whisker.
The dragon also did something else weird. When they were in the chamber. I'm not forgiving
You
the
guys
dragon.
should have seen Mike's face when he said that. Don't receive the whisker, man. Oh, God.
When they were in the chamber where he learned it was a calendar and that the statue would allow him to connect with his previous avatar incarnation, the dragon is blocking the light of the sun and then moves its head. And that's when Aang realizes, oh, it's a calendar. How could the dragon block the light, though, if it was a spiritual dragon?
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting because, like, they go through the ceiling to get to that room, and they're not falling through the ceiling anymore when they're in it.
That's a good point. We're probably analyzing it too hard.
Yeah, I agree.
But still, the light. They're transparent. That's the whole thing. Maybe it was spiritual light. It's a spiritual beam of light. Once it interfaced with the lens, it became spiritual. Because it is a hallowed place.
I give
No,
you a
it's
maybe.
solid. It's rock solid.
Yeah, well,
Never mind. This is buttoned up, actually. Remove one of the plot hole markers we had.
nice.
Another way they used Appa this episode was when Zuko was searching for his uncle. Right? Zuko lost something, just like Appa did. And when Katara goes and rides Appa to look for Aang and Sokka,
Yep.
Zuko happens to see them. And it is such a heartbreaking and also, I guess, heartwarming moment that Zuko decides, he's like, my honor. Also, my uncle. And it's just like sad to see, like he had to make that decision, you know, he was torn.
Yep.
He was of two minds, but then he decided, like, no, my uncle's more important.
It's another seed being planted. Can we talk about, like, when that happens? Zuko's on his way to Iroh. My man is nasty at tracking. He's absolutely nasty.
You want to talk about nasty, that flip-flop, bro.
Yeah, that too. That too, for sure. I'm, for the first time, making the connection that flip-flop, I want to say, is the same as the flip-flop that he gives the Shirshu in the series finale.
Ooh, the same smelly flip-flop used for tracking in 2 different episodes? We'll have to watch out for that.
But he said, the rocks didn't move naturally. He immediately knew it was earthbenders.
Yeah, honestly, that was a stupid take from his firebending people. Must have been a landslide. I don't know.
I agree.
The crazy take.
He's smart, though.
Well, Iroh had a goddamn master plan to get out from underneath the earthbending people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let me talk about that too, because he finds himself in this situation, but you can see how calm he is and confident. Like, if you had another person in this situation, they'd probably be pissed and freaking out. He's also confident in his people and Zuko. He knows he's going to be all right, which is so cool.
Yeah, from To his knowledge, they left without him. I didn't think about that
Right.
implication.
In a lot of perspectives, there's no hope. But he chooses to not think about that at all and to do what he can strategically to get himself out of this situation.
The faith he has is crazy because he forces them to like try to cripple him
He sure does.
because he attacks them and then they decide their only hope is to like break his arms so they can
Right, I mean,
safely.
If you get to that point, it's like you can't say you didn't try at the end of the day. It's like, okay, now things are looking much more hopeless. If you equate what happened before to be 0 and now you're multiplying it by 0, it's like you're still at 0, bro.
No, we're going negative, dude.
Yeah, you know.
I knew that he rescues Iroh in the end, but I was like, does he take a quick sec?
There's something I'm forgetting.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, it's so tantalizing for him. That's what he wants so badly. And they haven't demonstrated until they reveal that he went after Iroh, the bond that they share. Because all we've seen is him get annoyed. In fact, they hammered on that again at the beginning of the episode. Zuko angrily leaves and says, if you don't come, we're leaving without you.
You know, the answer to his decision after it has been let to sit is answered in grand fashion. You know, they're about to knock his hands off, and Zuko just comes flying in with this kick of the boulder and another great line.
You're clearly outnumbered.
That's true, but you are clearly outmatched.
Iroh's voice actor Mako just nails that one too. Yeah, and then he just has the greatest magical weapon in the whole universe.
2 chains.
Indestructible.
The softest rocks I've ever seen thrown at people. They'd crumble under the weight of those mighty chains.
Yeah. And then another line that Mako delivers so well is excellent form, Prince Zuko. Another thing that I find myself saying a lot ever since I first watched this show, honestly. I've said excellent form. I couldn't tell you how long.
That's why you say that?
Yeah, it is.
Excellent form is from this show. I know that you say with that stance.
Yeah.
You know, a lot.
Say that
which
too.
I know that's a reference to this, but excellent form, huh?
It sure is.
You say that a lot.
Yeah, man. I've said that since I was in like elementary school, man, because of this show. And as this episode comes to a close, we get a little bit more humor, but it's like realism at the same time. Sokka's like, you could give us some supplies and money.
That was solid on Sokka's part.
Mm-hmm.
Very pragmatic and fit his character, 100%. So, Sokka gets back from the spirit realm or wherever he was. Like, he was stolen by a spirit, taken to the spirit realm, and he has nothing to say about it. He has absolutely nothing to say about it, and we never hear about it again. Where was he? What was he doing?
He said he felt really out of it and didn't really know what happened.
Bro, that's such a cop-out.
Yeah.
So lame.
Yeah, you're right. They could have done something with that, I feel like.
Yeah, everybody in that village was, like, abducted to the spirit realm for days, even.
Yeah, they could have been interesting.
What if Sokka got a spirit power? That'd be crazy. Then he wouldn't just be the funny meat guy, sarcasm guy, plan guy, sword guy, boomerang guy.
He's a lot of guys.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Restoring Balance podcast. And don't forget, if you run into a spirit in the middle of the night, maybe just say, hey, bye.
Watch out for those whiskers, man. Perfect. All right. Dude, Katara's lethal with an acorn.
Yeah, the accuracy was crazy when we were watching.
Oh my god.